Hi, YouTubers. My name's Brian Curtis. So, quick message for the channel. This is a channel message. Uh, God, it's always something different, right? I mean, it's like uh, when you think about, how the whole like group collective is growing. There's all these like different like energies that kind of get thrown around, and so people project most of the time. People project this feeling of like not being loved. I don't know. I have been guilty of that in the past. But to be perfectly honest, like, if I uh, offer to work with somebody or offer to spend time with somebody and they don't show a lot of interest, I just kind of turn away. And so the challenge, this is the challenge for anybody that changed their behavior over time. Let's say you were in a negative mindset, let's say 12 months ago, right? And all of a sudden you've gone through a healing process and now you feel better. It's like, hey, I want to open up. I want to be more trusting. Is to maybe the people that you that turned away from you in the past have a changed attitude, or you turned away from the past. You have a, be still open to working with you. So you have to overcome yourself and be able to go back and say, hey, look, uh, I changed my mind. I have an idea, or I'm curious to see what you're doing. Maybe we can work together in some way for a project, right? Other than thinking, oh, I, you know, treated him poorly, or um, there's no way that they would take me back, or there's no way that, they would be open to working with me because there's, like, we just can't get over that, right? It's like you start projecting things that uh, aren't even real, right? Because now you're assuming of what somebody would say or what somebody would do. And so assumptions are just kind of blah. So, I have gotten in the habit, and this is something that I'll probably do, beginning of this next year, is review old business acquaintances or people that uh, I don't have as much of this problem than people that I know in the business world do, right? Because I've reached out to people before in the business world and say, hey, well, we'd like to work together, and they weren't interested in working together. They just wanted a money agreement, and in some ways, those money agreements and those refusals to work together are a blessing in disguise because if somebody doesn't want to trust a business relationship, then that means that they're projecting untrustworthiness, which means that just a lot of times they are untrustworthy. So that's a message for a lot of you out there. If you're watching this video, um, and this is something that I've seen a lot on YouTube before, is your rejection is your protection. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody coming in from the past hasn't changed a little bit if they rejected you before and all of a sudden decide that they want to start working with you again. But you're going to have to use your discernment, because a lot of times the reason that they want to start working with you, especially if you all of a sudden become successful and now they want to start working with you, right? Why didn't they want to work with you in the past? Because it didn't mean that they were going to get something from you, right? It's all about honoring something material versus honoring someone's time, right? And that's the discernment that all of us need to make, is to make sure that we honor our time together versus honoring something like a bug or a chair, or, I mean, it's nice, mutually take care of an animal, right? Because you're honoring the animal's time. But if you're honoring, like, you know, and it's nice to honor the time you spend working on a thing, that's totally different. But honoring the thing itself for the uh, in order to work together, that's what causes problems, because that's what creates dysfunction in business relationships and in life in general, right? Like even marriages, doesn't matter what you're talking about. When you're trying to honor the thing over honoring the time with the person, then what are you doing, right? Prioritize your time and prioritize the way you think about yourself. Prioritize everything. That's something that everybody has to do. The hardest thing, and this is the main thing that I want to talk about today. Before I'm just gonna draw an oracle card when I get done here, is that honoring your masculine and feminine energy. You know, a lot of times I talk about your creative energy, and then what you're attracting. So to make sure that you're creating positive energy for the people around you and yourself. That's your masculine energy, and at the same time, your masculine energy is you actually have masculine and feminine projected energy, and masculine and feminine attractive energy. So it's like you're a 4 quadrant being, and you've got light and dark, you know, in every way you can think. Right? You've got as you're projecting energy, you want to, you know, your feminine energy is supportive and nurturing and say, hey, you know, make sure you take care of yourself. And the masculine part of that projected energy is discipline. Make sure you're sticking accountable to what you're doing, right? Because if you fall out of accountability, you know, then, but if you fall too far into accountability, then you're not nurturing yourself. If you fall too far into nurturing yourself, you're not holding yourself accountable. Everything is about balance. I mean, but just about every message I think that I could give on this channel is about balancing your projected and attractive energies, right? So you're balancing both sides, and your receptive energy, your attractive energy, what you're attracting. So now you have to just use discernment. If somebody's coming at, a lot of times the things that you will attract are trying to feed off of you in an unbalanced way because they see that you have something that maybe they don't. And at the same time, if it is unbalanced, create balance there. There's always opportunity to heal our relationship. So don't ever feel like, you know, as long as you set the right boundaries, I believe that there isn't a relationship out there that you can't make work. The boundaries will push the person away if they're not ready for the right boundaries, a balanced mindset and a balanced relationship. You don't have to worry about doing it yourself. Your boundaries will push them. They won't be able to deal with them, right? I had a friend in business, and I really am down with, and I understand this boundary, but in some ways, and I'll tell you why, that for me, that boundary is a little bit different from what my boundary is. She's like, hey, I just, you know, she didn't really believe in business relationships. She's had a lot of bad past experience with, having personal relationships with people that she had a business relationship with. And there's reasons for that, right? It's all around money. But didn't really want to pursue, you know, like getting to know me unless we just met in person. And this is something that I hold as a standard, like on LinkedIn or anything. You know, I really want to meet you, at least speak to you on the phone, in person, or preferably meet you face to face, like video conference. Even if you're far away, I just as soon see who you are and meet you face to face and try to speak to you. I've had so many people reach out to me, and that's all they want to do is create a texting relationship, and it was like, blah, right? And in some ways, even creating a video conference relationship or a phone relationship isn't really very fulfilling, right? I mean, but you can get to know somebody no matter how far away they are that way. If you just open the lines of communication and speak, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You can always close gaps in distance, but that's the challenge. Is if you don't ever open that up and make it available to start to speak and communicate with somebody, no matter how far away they are, then you never get to a place where you're motivated to go see somebody, right? So think of it that way. But she set the boundaries to, where, and it's fine, right? And she didn't really close off the communication barrier, but obviously she's not going to waste her time and energy for somebody that doesn't want to isn't interested in meeting her in person. And that was the boundary she set. And I really appreciate that boundary. Great boundary. Love her to death. And I do want to meet her in person. She's a great gal. I love this chick, right? And so when I have time, when I'm, you know, it feels like it's the right time and the right place, and it'll happen. And for sure, right? So, anyway, that being said, what else did I have to say? Oh yeah, masculine and feminine energy. Make sure you're nurturing yourself, right? Don't get too you don't want to get too hard on yourself, but you don't want to get too easy on yourself at the same time, right? Try and keep the needle in the middle. And the reason is, and this is why you have to do this, this is the point of the whole story, is because all of us, and it doesn't matter who I've met in business, I know this for a fact, many of us are changing our professions over time as you grow. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over, let's say I am teaching a specific thing, then you never really grow. You're not expanding your skill sets, right? Your intuitive abilities, how it feel, and your intuitive abilities are a lot of times more important than your knowledge, because your knowledge is just that, knowledge and skill are great, but that's how you break through barriers in consciousness, when you're increasing your knowledge level and increasing your intuitive abilities at the same time, your discernment, and how it feels like what the market's doing, and your interactions with other people, right? And that's how you serve other people in a better way, because you're able to provide more skill set, and at the same time intuitively pick up what they need to hear at the same time. So I'm going to leave it at that. This message was beneficial for you guys and me, right? It's always beneficial for both. What else do I have to say about that one? Oh yeah, I heard something the other day where it sounded like somebody, it was just a channeled message, where somebody was saying, well, somebody's trying to take credit for what you're doing, and it's just like, you know what? Who cares? It's like, you're always, take credit for yourself. And if anybody tries to do that, I mean, I'm sure you already know what you're going to say to them. Say, hey, look, I did the work for me. You did your work for you. Congratulations on whatever it is you did. And I'm going to congratulate myself for whatever I did, right? I mean, it's okay to give thanks to the people around you because you learn lessons through the people around you. But ultimately, all of us are only responsible for ourselves. And unless we interpret and treat the people around us in the correct way, then none of us are going to be successful, right? That's how, and by managing yourself in the right way, that's what helps you to teach other people to do that. And even if you teaching that person, they can give you some credit, but unless they do the work for themselves, they're not doing anything. So, it is a mutual effort. We are living in this mutual thing. So it's never like, none of us are in a bubble, but take credit for your own work, right? Worlds within worlds. It's true. It's like worlds within worlds. All of this is worlds within worlds. It's like when you think about the projected energies around you, and the balance between cutting those off to create something new, but then projecting that new image to the world around you, creates worlds within worlds within worlds. Remember, I'm speaking about how everybody's consciousness is projecting a certain type of energy because of the way that they view the world around them. And if you view the world as separate at all, then you will separate yourself from it. Not true. Even though it's worlds within worlds, it's all you. So it's like universes within universes. Your own little universe within a larger organism. Think about what I just talked about, and think about how the cells in your own body work. The way that your cells communicate, making sure that your cells communicate back and forth, is the exact same way that my communication with you guys are, right? So whatever intuitive messages you're picking up or what's resonating with you when I get on here and speak is just for you, not for anybody else. Worlds within worlds. But it also is creating what it needs to create for the larger organism. And even that larger organism is just a small little world inside of an even bigger ecosystem. I mean, it's like it infinitely expands and contracts. When I see articles about why is our universe tearing itself apart, it's like, come on, guys, just look at the picture, right? It's just breathing. It's breathing out. It's breathing in. Everything is doing that. Everything is breathing in and breathing out and breathing in, and conducting energy and information for each other, right? And we're all here for each other. My time is not more important than your time, and your time is just as important as my time. It's all just time and energy, right? Love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you later.